Hey friends, welcome back to another video, and actually my last video of 2024. Before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping, and I promise I'll be quick. I am going to be taking a little hiatus off of YouTube. I feel like this is YouTube, I don't think I could say that word on YouTube without being demonetized, but taking a break on YouTube is not the best for the algorithm. YouTube typically pushes your videos, even to your own subscribers, like showing you on their feed to creators that are making content regularly. And so I do try and post every week, but I'm going to California. I'm gonna spend time with family. I'm gonna be there for 3 weeks, which is like the longest I've been there in a long time. And yeah, just gonna take a break and spend time with Archie. He is 6 months now, and so he's just like growing a lot. And yeah, I just want to take a break because I only took a month off of work after I gave birth. So it's been kind of a whirlwind of 6 months, and I kind of feel it catching up to me in terms of the burnout, in terms of feeling like I'm being forced to film. Honestly, it's not as exciting as it used to be. I don't know if it's because it's hard to squeeze in filming now with having a baby, but I just kind of feel like I need to take a breather for a little bit and sort of distance myself from social media in general and kind of like reel it back in. Not to say that I am trying to take like a long-term break. I think I just need some space. I need some space from social media. I need to just be present in my life, present with my family and my friends and stuff like that. And so I just want to kind of honor the time that I have with them, because I'm not sure how often I'm going to be getting to California next year. I obviously have had a great year on YouTube. 2024, I hit so many milestones and goals, and I'm just really grateful for all of you guys that have been here throughout my pregnancy, throughout becoming a new mom. And yeah, I just really hope you know how much I appreciate you, but I just need to take some time off. And I feel like a lot of people around this time anyway kind of take a break from watching YouTube because they're also kind of trying to be present with family and doing whatever for the holidays. So I think I'm gonna take about 3 weeks off. I'll probably post again mid to end of January, and so hopefully this one can be a little bit longer. I'm gonna aim for 2 hours today, but we will see. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do a plant room tour or if I wanted to do a favorites video. I have not done any favorites videos this year, I don't think. And the reason that I haven't done it is because it kind of feels redundant. So I kind of feel like it makes sense to do a favorites video at the end of the year, just going through all of the ones that you've loved throughout the year. Hold on. Sorry, I'm on Archie duty still. So yeah, I kind of feel like it makes most sense to just do one favorites video at the end of the year. And it was hard because when I was pulling my list for this video, it's like there are plants that are my favorites in general, or there are plants that I'm just really excited to have this year, but maybe they haven't given me the growth that I'm looking for yet. An example of that would be my Burley Marks' Flame, which, oh, you can't even see, but I'm so stoked to have that plant. And I love it a lot, but it hasn't given me any fenestrations yet. And so I can't really sit here and say, oh, it's a favorite, because yes, I'm very excited to have it and I'm excited for the potential it has. But right now, as it is, it's not presenting as a plant that I'm looking at every single day and wanting to take pictures of. So the list that I have today are ones that are just my favorites. You guys know some of the ones that you're gonna see today: the tortum, my Dean, my Patty. But then there are some that are still really small, that haven't really shown its full potential yet, but I'm just so excited to have it in general. And even as a young plant, it's kind of impressed me enough that I want to include it in this video. I think that I have probably close to 20 plants to show you today, maybe. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 plants. So I think what I'm actually gonna do for this video instead is do both. I'm gonna do a little not plant tour, I'm gonna do a plant room tour, and then we're gonna head into the favorites after. So this entire video is gonna be bookmarked, so if you only came here for the plant room, or if you only came here for the favorites, you can use the little slider down here and it'll show you like the little chapters of where to go. But I'm just gonna probably use my phone and walk around and just give you a little glimpse at what the plant room looks like right now, because I have changed quite a few things over the last few weeks. And then after that, we will sit down and I will start showing you my favorites. All right, as you walk in, you can kind of see off the bat that a few things have changed. Probably in the last, I would say 2 months, I've really been implementing a lot of changes. And the idea behind that is I just really wanted to make this space not feel so plant room, so industrial, so what's the word? Like, you know, when it's like garage style almost, like I wanted it to almost flow into the rest of the house, or like at least flow with kind of what I have going on plant-wise over there. I wanted it to be a place where I can just like sit and admire plants, and I wanted it to feel more welcoming and inviting and not so industrial. I don't know how else to describe it, but I wanted it to feel homey. I wanted to style it more. I wanted to make more interesting, I guess, displays. And so this is one of them that I feel really brought a lot of things together. I kind of used this as like my base and then built around it. So going back, I added this shelf here not too long ago. I just wanted a specific place for my seedlings, for my seeds, my rehabs and stumps, and things that I kind of just shoved wherever it could fit over here. And so now things are a bit more organized. I'm going to kind of show you what's happening. So down here, like it says, and honestly, labeling these bins with like rehabs and stuff I'm selling, it just makes things so much easier for like my ADHD brain. I just get overwhelmed, and so seeing it like and knowing everything is kind of categorized and organized that way, it just makes me feel so much better. Anyway, down here are rehabs. These are not plants that I'm selling. Oh my gosh, why did I water this so much? You guys, look, this thing is swimming in water. Oh my God. Anyway, you didn't see that. These are my personal plants, and they are just the ones that are not looking hot. Like, look at how nasty some of these are. I mean, these ones kind of just came out of the prop boxes, but they were rehabs, and yeah, we're gonna try and get them looking nice again. This entire box is going to my sister. All of these are her plants. This right here are some of my props, and I have some really exciting ones happening. I harvested a bunch of scalprum and a bunch of frydek corms, and I didn't label it, so I'm waiting until they sprout to see which one is which. But yeah, I've got a bunch of props in there. These are ones that I'm not gonna be selling these. These are my personal plants. They're also rehabs. All of the rehabs used to be all on one shelf, but since having to move this here, I've had to kind of shift things around. These are my narrow pallies that I'm going to be selling in Canada. Finally potted them into their own pots, and I'm just waiting for them to size up, and then I'm going to acclimate them to ambient humidity before I sell them, and then they'll be ready to go. Over here I have a few more seedlings. This one is going to need to go in an actual bin when I leave for California. All of these are going to my sister. I had some plants that didn't sell, and yeah, she was like, you're gonna bring those to California and you're not gonna ask any questions. So just doing what I'm told here. These are some of my personal, some of them are my personal plants, like this Dark Phoenix RA5, which needs to be repotted desperately, but most of these are going to be sold. I was really trying to get rid of this entire bin before I left because it's an ambient, but like, you know, I was waiting for leaves to come out and this looks like crap right now, so I might need to like just put them back in a prop box before I go. All of this is going to California for some trades with friends. You would have seen it in my week of if you watched that. More pally, more pally, more pally. All of these pallies are going to Plant Babe in California. She's going to be my US distributor for the narrow pallies. Up there are more of my seedlings. I'm not going to take it down because it's just a lot. And then these are my Brielle forgetii. Up there I have two of my personal plants. So I have my ficus alii and then I have a Ripsalis paradoxa that I purchased recently. And then I chopped finally my soderini. I have another, the top cut is right here. I'm not getting rid of this. I'm keeping the top and then the bottoms are going to my sister. I also chopped up my esqueleto on camera. That's going to my sister. Going back to this grid wall, this was actually just a happy accident. So I have nails up there already. And while I was like reconfiguring this entire space, I literally had nowhere to move. And so I grabbed this grid wall and I just hung it up there to get it out of the way. And then I was like, wait a second, that might work. I think eventually I want to get one that fills this entire space, I think. It's still a little bit too narrow. I could also do it horizontally, but I will have to see. I'm happy with it right now though. I'm not gonna go too in depth with some of these because I'm gonna be showing them to you during the favorites portion. But up here I have my Winlingeri from Amanda. I think that one is an NSE Winlingeri. I have my King of Spades, which got really banged up when I was moving things around. This was an emergent leaf and I was just being Sherman. Burley Marx's Flame, which I won't be featuring in the favorites video today because it won't give me any lobster claws. I don't know why, but it's still one of my favorites and I do need to repot it. This one is I think this is a Mag Chris Lux from Bunny. This one was a prop that I was supposed to sell and then I just fell back in love with it, so she's a keeper. Narrow Pally is right here and it is flowering again. And I think I saw another inflow coming out. I feel like it's trying to self one more time. We'll see what I end up doing with it. It's too bad that you can't cross a lot of things with Pally because otherwise I would be going to town. I just got this, I think this is like the dead stick plant or something. I just got it from someone that I sold plants to. She gifted it to me, so thank you very much. My Ripsalis is up here. Heterophila Dragon's Breath. This new leaf is looking so sinister. My columnea Argata Af. I don't know if I love this one. This is my Equidurance. Wait, no. I don't know why I always say Equidurance. It's my Chia Pezence crossed with my Vera Pezence. I'm not sure if I love it, but it reminds me enough of the Longissimilobum that I've kept it around. I also got this from Bunny, and it's, I don't know, it's been pretty okay. I guess I just haven't been the best at growing it. This one is an Ace Lux up here, and then down here I've got some of my alocasia, so my Scalprum, Frydek, Monstera Sierrana. Down here I've got some Ficus, Euphorbia, Hoya, a little bit of everything down here. One of my new decaryas, Decarya patchy something. It's not doing too hot. My Dracaena marginata had a terrible case of spider mite, so I chopped off the entire top, but I think I'm actually gonna bring this to my sister. I'm gonna try. We'll see if I can get it to fit. Down here I have just some kind of like miscellaneous plants. Oh, I haven't even seen this new, leaf yet. It's really hard to see the variegation on this one. It's emergent, but it's there. Cupria is back there. Jacqueline. Oh wait, we're not calling it Jacqueline. Tanderusa. Variegated Billy. Watsoniana. My My spiral ginger, which is giving me no kind of variegation. She is kind of pissing me off, but it's still, I guess it's still pretty. Down here are more props. I would eventually want to get rid of this bottom area and just like remove this shelf so that I can have plants growing bigger here, but I don't want to worry about that right now. On this shelf though, I have my woodlingeri from Alice. This one is, I think, a mag hybrid from Bunny. Oh good. I have no idea what it is. My, whatchamacall, what is this called again, you guys? Red Anderson. Still have not given up hope on my majestic. I have this, what I thought was the Heterophylla Dragon's Breath, but it's actually a Corazon. That one's gonna be going to Lauren someday. Lauren, come get your plants. Up here are my two exos. I've already kind of run through this a million times, but this one is 36 high, 24 wide, 18 deep. This one is my favorite exo size. I just feel like you can fit so many plants in here, or you can just fit a couple like big ones, and I don't know, it's just such a great size. If it were up to me, I'd get rid of this big one and just do like 3 of these, honestly. So I'm not gonna go too in depth with all the plants in here because I am gonna feature a lot of them, but I've kind of like transitioned it more into a place to acclimatize seedlings from their prop boxes. So they're gonna go into here, which is about, I wanna say it's like 50 or 60% humidity in there. And then they will eventually transition over here where it's like 30%. This is my houseplant journal LTH meter, and I love it very, very much. So right now, like this plant is getting 200 foot candles. That's actually not as much as I thought it would be. 238. I thought it was going to be in like the 400s. 270. Yeah, well, I guess when it's like right up close. Okay, that's not too bad. Kind of drops down pretty significantly down here. I was hoping that these could get at least like 140, 150, but they're like barely getting 100. So I don't know, I actually might need to rethink the light situation in here. But anyway, there's that exo, and then there's this exo, which is 36 wide, 36 high, 18 deep. And I have a few in here that I'm going to be featuring today, so I'm not going to talk too much, but I did just acquire this queen, and I'm going to try and I think mount it on a pole, and I was going to do it on a YouTube live. I just don't know if I'm going to have time to do it before I go. And maybe I don't want to do that right before I'm going to leave, so maybe I'll save it for when I'm back. Another plant that I'm not going to be featuring today is this Ace Dark Mama that I also got from Jing. This one is just scratching my Ace of Spades itch. I am not good at growing the Ace, and so to have one that has a lot of Ace features is very, very exciting, and hopefully it's a lot easier to grow. Another one, I guess, that I can show you that I'm not going to be featuring today. Who is it? Everyone ignore this one. I just repotted it and it hates life right now. And it also had like mad spider mites as well. I've got a fountain in here. If you did not see, I did like a whole video setting this up. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, it's in my plant room now, and I actually really like it a lot. It's keeping my air plants nice and hydrated. They are still alive, and I'm impressed. I am very impressed. So yeah, I do have 2 grid panels on each side, and then down here I'm just using like a bunch of different sort of things to rise it, to give it levels. Oh, and then I didn't even mention that I've done sort of like a frosted film in the front. Otherwise, like when you can see all the stuff that it's sitting on top of, it just looks so messy. And I feel like that this just like cleans it up a bit, even though it's like a really bad, well, it's not really bad. Alice is watching this, like, I did that. Alice did this one for me, but I think it's like the film that I got, it was pretty cheap, and so it's kind of like lifting on the edges, but I don't mind it. And then of course, got my little disco ball here. I actually have a few disco balls. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I know there's a 5th one somewhere. 4, 5 down there. 5. There should be 6. I need to put one in here though. Okay, so now that we're over here, I moved my redsta back. Okay, so I moved this into Archie's room. It was housing all his clothes for a long time, but I was like, man, this poor redsta, oh no. Oh no. It's just too pretty. It's just too pretty to be a closet, so brought it back in here, and I honestly don't even have enough plants to fill all of my greenhouses and stuff, but I was planning to come back from California with some plants, and so I'll have some space to work with. I'm probably not going to be featuring a lot of these, or maybe any of them. My spiritus pushed a new leaf, and it's pretty sizable. Probably the biggest spiritus leaf I've ever grown. Back here is this should be in my rehab section, but this is a forgetii mag, I think. And then up here, I have some that I will feature, so I'm not gonna go too in depth, but I don't know, just some random. I honestly placed these really quick. I could probably do like a full plant room restyle, but I don't have time for that right now. Up here is my 24 by 24 by 18 XO. It's really only housing 3 anthurium right now, 2 of which, actually, I think I'm going to be featuring all 3 of these in the favorites, so we won't talk about that. On the left side here is my Ripsalis paradoxa minor. This whole thing is going to California to live its best California life with my sister. I have this, I got this from HomeSense. It's HomeSense here in Canada. Once this plant goes, I don't really know what's gonna go here. But anyway, up there I moved my Russo tower, which is housing my Esqueleto, which I have severely chopped down. And it's still recovering from the chop. It basically had no roots, but I just stuck it in leca and hoped for the best. Also got my big old pally here, which has a munched leaf. This would have been a pretty gnarly leaf had I not ruined it. Hoya obovata is living up there, gloriosum, philodendron sp, columnea, billietiae. It's really just a philodendron party up there. My patty is hanging on a variegated plant shop hanger. And then I added my origami, origami butterflies up here. I moved them from my hallway, and I kind of want to do more along here. I'd actually love to do butterflies all over this corner and do like more levels, so some are like lower or whatever. Oh, and then up here, that's a Barina light bar. I think it's 42 watts. And then I have the Soltech Vitalight, which is 24. I hope I'm not just pulling these numbers out of my booty. But yeah, that is the plant room, guys. And then I think the only thing that I want to change is this rug. The reason I put a rug here is because I've been spraying a lot, whether it's like to help emergent leaves or doing like Spino or some kind of like pesticide, and then it just like gets all over the floor. So I wanted to like protect it, but I'm thinking I want to do one of those like big black industrial mats to like cover this entire area. It's not ideal to have a mat when we're doing plant stuff because, I don't know, it gets messy. It's easier to just like take a vacuum and like vacuum up hardwood or just like sweep it up or something. But I don't know, I kind of like the idea of having carpet in here. So I think that about covers it. Oh, I didn't even show you my trusty little, I found this Aleca. And it's so smooth. It's smooth and it's lucky, so I kept it, and it's right here. I just kept it right here for good luck. I'm not showing you the other side because it's really, okay, it's not that messy. I'll just show it to you really quick. Don't twist my arm. I got a Lomi. We're gonna try that out in the new year. I'll tell you all about it. Closet, storage closet. This is where I keep all of my substrates. Everything's organized in these bins, and it makes things nice and easy. I've got my 2 tables that I use to repot here. And then in this closet, this is my plant closet now. It's kind of just like an array of this and that, but everything has been pretty organized and cleaned out. I've gotten rid of all of the things I don't need, and it feels great. Every new year I try and get the house completely purged and organized, and I just finished doing it this weekend. So I'm feeling like $1,000,000, I'm not gonna lie. Nothing much else. By the way, the windows behind here, so many people are like just befuddled. What's the word that I'm looking for? They're just confused about the layout of my apartment. Behind these windows, that's my kitchen. So if you ever see my kitchen, I have these random windows above my cabinets and my microwave and my fridge. That is this room. It's just weird. It's weird. They like tried to make it so that there was natural light in here, but no natural light actually ever comes in. So yeah, anyway, let me move you down. My phone is smoking hot from recording that. It's so funny, I bought this really expensive, what's that called? Gimbal, so that I could actually put my camera and hold things around and it's not gonna be shaky. But I get so lazy to use it that I end up just using my phone anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my living room plants first. It is dead of winter here in Canada, so there is no sunlight outside, so I'm just gonna be bringing everything in here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I have 8 plants to show you from the living room. The first one I'm gonna show you is, I wanna say it, but it's a bold statement. I think this is my favorite anthurium. It's always been, even before I even discovered all of these other hybrids and crazy anthurium that are just, going for thousands and thousands of dollars. There's something about the clarinervium that always brings me home. It always just reels me back in. And I don't know why actually it doesn't get more love. The clarinervium is just it's such a good one. It has a really, really, really unique leaf shape. The venation, I think, is very unique and very interesting and dainty and cute and wonderful. And I have just always been in awe of this plant. And so during that time where I wasn't really sure how to keep it alive, I was just so envious of people who had these like big old clarinervium in their house. And yeah, now I know how to take care of it, and I will never let her leave me again. But here is maybe an unpopular opinion. I like when they are this size, the clarinervium leaves. It kind of loses its charm when it gets too big. And so my goal for this plant is not to size up the leaves, but to just have a bushier plant. So I'm eventually gonna get to a place where I chop and propagate this, or I could just buy some more. Maybe buy 2 or 3 other plants, get it in a massive pot and like pot them all together. So I have a big old clarinervium. That is my manifestation for 2025. I have already been shopping around for clarinerviums, but surprisingly I've already been shopping around for clarinervium, but they're kind of expensive still. I mean, it's kind of nice because I feel like, at least they're not being undervalued. But yeah, it's like weird because I'm trying to find this form exactly. There are different like kinds of clarinervium, although they're all called clarinervium. There's not like a trade name for the different like forms of them. But I want this one specifically, the one that looks like this. And yeah, I was looking at like 4-inch pots and they were still like $30, $40 USD, and I'm not gonna pay that much for it. So I don't know, we'll see if I can find a good deal. But I wanted to start with this one because, I don't know, I've just been really, really loving on this plant. I'm just so happy that it grew well for me this year. It's growing in no drainage, growing in a pretty chunky aeroid soil with leca down at the bottom. I don't water this anthurium as much as I water my other plants or my other anthurium. I treat it like a succulent. Goes pretty long periods of like, maybe not drought, but just being drier. And then when I do water it, I give it like a nice big drink. But yeah, clarinervium, definitely one of my favorites this year. All right, I'm not going to go too in depth on this one because I just featured it in all my red crystallinum hybrids video. And oh man, I'm so happy to see roots. I don't know if it's the myco or the soil or what, but I'm telling you, things be rooting like a hot damn lately. So this is my dorayaki red crystal, and I got this one from Lauren over at North Shore Tropicals. This one has the most incredible emergent leaf. I'm gonna pop it in next to me. Every time this one has a new leaf, every single day, multiple times a day, I'm just gawking at it. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm gawking at it. And I think it's probably one of my favorite emergent leaves of all my anthurium because it's got like this really nice cotton candy, like watermelon color to it. And even as a hardened off leaf, it's beautiful. I was saying that I was really happy to see roots because I had repotted this plant maybe, I wanna say it was like a month ago, and then I started working out this trade with my friend Dania, and she had expressed that she wanted a cutting of this, and so I uprooted it again, chopped it. I actually took 2 cuttings of it, I think, and it's already rooting. I did use a new myco on it. I used the I think I used the I used the killer whale. I used this one. I used this myco on it, and it's already like rooting everywhere, which is such a beautiful sight. That's exactly what you want to see after a chop, and especially if it's a plant that you really, really love. I'm so shiny, it's not even funny. Why am I so shiny? Shiny. So yeah, I wanted to feature this. It's only 1 leaf right now because like I said, I just chopped it. I chopped off 2 ugly leaves. I was gonna say that I hybridized this one this year. I didn't. I'm really hoping though that it flowers for me next year because I would love to self this one, and I would also love to hybridize it maybe with a red crystal, like go back dorayaki red crystal. I think that'd be cool. I don't know if I would do dorayaki again because I do have a dorayaki silver, but I don't think it would be as cool as if I tried to breed it back with red crystal. But anyway, this has been another favorite this year, and it is growing with drainage holes in a not as chunky aroid. It's like a soil tree fern fiber mix, but it loves it a lot. And it's living on my living room shelf, living in ambient. It's like 30% humidity out there. And honestly, this has probably been one of the easier plants to grow in ambient. I don't know if I've ever had this one in a greenhouse, but yeah, she's been a champ. I mean, obviously you're gonna have like, you know, some mechanical damage or cosmetic damage, whatever. But I'm at a point now in this hobby where I really, really don't strive for perfect leaves. Like, as long as it doesn't have like crazy pest damage, like I don't even care if it like gets ripped or has like a gaping hole. It's just whatever to me. I don't really care. I would much rather still grow my anthurium out in ambient. And once these all outgrow greenhouses, I don't know where they're, I'm gonna have to take the doors off everything. But anyway, yeah, dorayaki red crystal. This is another one that I think you should definitely put on a wish list because it's so much fun. I always love showing this one on my channel. I always love pushing. I love pushing the cissus as much as I love pushing the tortum. I feel like there are some people who are trying to resist me on both plants, but I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you at least on one of them. But this is Her Majesty, the Cissus quadrangularis. This is actually in the grape family. You can actually see it's got these little vines that do twirlies around your other plants. If you're not careful, it will take over. It's just like a, whatchamacall. What is that really invasive plant? Dioscorea discolor. If you put the Dioscorea discolor next to anything, it will choke it out. And then it's also got these little leaves. It's very cute. Someone actually messaged me a couple weeks ago saying like they were trying to make it climb, it just like would not climb. And I never actually, like, since getting this plant, I never thought I'm gonna try and make it climb. It just never striked me as a plant that would look good climbing. And so I just kind of let it do its thing. I let it trail. And yeah, she was like, thank you so much. Like, I feel like I finally figured out a way that I can keep this plant without going crazy. But then another person messaged me saying like, I've been trying to get my cissus to trail, but it keeps breaking. Like you can see, like this one's pretty long. I've even had ones like even longer than this, probably like a foot longer, and it's never broken. I don't know why that would be, because I feel like it starts like this, right? It goes up, as it gets heavier, it falls down. And as it like grows up and goes down, why does this look rotty? It kind of like strengthens itself to be able to hold its weight without breaking at the knuckles. So I don't know, I personally have never dealt with any sort of like breakage issues. Guys, I'm noticing something weird. I'm noticing something weird on this thing. I think it needs a repot. It's like getting like black. I've never had that before on the cissus. I mean, otherwise it looks really good, but it's everywhere. Is that like a fungal thing? What's going on? What's going on? Anyway, guys, cissus quadrangularis. This is one that I feel like every plant lover can appreciate. Even if you are just into caudex plants, or you're just into succulents, or you're just into anthurium, you gotta mix it up. You gotta mix it up. And this is a really cool one to have just like on a shelf, or I don't know, somewhere like this. You can put it anywhere. She's versatile. She mixes well with others. She plays well with others. Not hard at all to propagate. You just cut them at the knuckles, stick it in some water, and it'll grow some leaves. I think I actually have one here that I chopped on camera in my week of, and I just plopped it in some water. Oh my God. Oh my word. Oh my word and my Lanta. And yeah, look. We've got some roots. And it happens fast. It happens really, really fast. I feel like this is a plant that is not hard to propagate at all. It just like has the will to live, and she will not take no for an answer. So this one's like ready to go. I'm probably just gonna ship this to Katie bare root, or I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet. We were supposed to meet in person, but the thing that I was supposed to go to in San Jose was pushed off, and so I'm not really needing to go there anymore. But anyway, yeah, I really, really love this one. It's gonna need an up pot soon. It's living just in an aeroid mix. Very small vessel. This is actually one that I wanted to repot before I went, and now it's just too late because I leave in a few days. But doesn't seem to mind it. I'll definitely get it into a bigger pot as soon as I come home though. Some new growth points happening up here. Like this is all brand new up here. I chopped it recently and it just like activated a bunch at the top, and so it should be nice, like super, super bushy in, I don't know, I want to say these will probably be as long as these in like a month. It grows so fast. I wouldn't even doubt if this was invasive. I'm pretty sure cissus in some areas or wherever it's native to is considered an invasive species because of how like vigorously it grows. But yeah, I feel like this is one that I would not mind having multiples of. It's just hard to house it because of how like fast it grows and how crazy it grows. But yeah, if you own one and you've been wondering like how to style it or like how to grow it, trailing is my preferred. I really would not even bother trying to get it to climb, because I think unless it's outside, like maybe on I was gonna say a gravel wall, like a concrete wall where it has like grooves and it has texture to latch onto, I really don't think it's gonna do anything. But yeah, try getting it to trail. If you haven't had luck in terms of keeping it healthy, I've always grown my cissus in no drainage because it's quite thirsty, and so growing it in no drainage has been like the best option for me. But definitely a favorite of all time, favorite forever, favorite. I just broke off a bunch of yves rocheri leaves. Okay, the next one is a little teeny tiny one. This is my decarya madagascariensis. This was a birthday gift from my dear friends Alice and Jing. Not this year, but last year. Last year's gift. They always get me such good birthday gifts. It was like, I'm gonna show you one of the ones that I got one year, and then I got this one, and then This year I got my Hupersia back there. Oh, they're just so good. Anywho, I love this one, but man, it has been through hell and back this year. I almost completely lost it. When it was at its worst, oh my God, there's webbing again. When it was at its worst, it's because it was attacked by spider mites. Why do spider mites love this plant so much? There's webbing all over this thing. I'm gonna have to give it a spray. But at some point, it was just this little piece that was left, this little area. I'm gonna circle it. Just that little area, and then all of this grew, this new growth point grew, and so we kind of like salvaged whatever was left of it, but this right side completely dried up. This is dead. And I think it's okay now, besides having spider mites. I feel like spider mites was the root cause of it not doing very well. It was like dropping leaves, it was drying up like crazy, and I just like could not figure it out, but it's really hard to see the webbing on it. You're probably not even gonna be able to see it on camera, but man, it just attacked these tiny little leaves and they were dropping like flies. And I checked the roots were fine. And then yeah, it wasn't until I noticed the micro webbing. But it's like, what do you guys want on this plant? It's just a bunch of sticks. Spider mites are freaking ruthless, man. But let me show you a more mature picture of a Decarya madagascariensis and the potential it could have, because it looks quite pathetic right now. But you know, I'm just happy it's alive. I do really like it in this pot that I thrifted. It's probably one of my favorite pots, and I just feel like it matches. When I first potted it in here, I didn't add the rocks, and I kind of thought that it was a little too dark, and it wasn't, I don't know, it was not really bringing out the features of the plant very much. And so then I topped it with this sort of like sand colored gravel, and I feel like that's exactly what it needed. I think not, did I say sand or gravel? Gravel? I think sand might be even better, but this is fine for now. And I just really love it. My hope for it is that it just keeps growing like this guy here, and then it gets nice and long. Don't know where it's gonna go, but I love when it just kind of grows up and then it like droops like a weeping willow. She just looks kind of pathetic right now, but I had to include it as a favorite because this is one that I really have just like loved since the moment I've had it. It was on my wish list for such a long time. I didn't know how attainable it was. I was devastated when I thought I was gonna lose it. And so I'm just happy she's here with us. I'm happy we can celebrate the new year together and that she hasn't died. But yeah, if you've been looking for like a nice funky plant, if you're like a spooky person like me, this is gonna be right up your alley. Just make sure to watch for those dang spider mites. Next one is my yves rocheri that has been giving me all these runners, but one of my favorite hoyas. If you followed along my, what do I even call it? It was a journey. For sure it was a journey of getting into hoyas and dropping them. I like picked up the Hoya hobby as quick as I dropped it. I was in and out. It was yeah, it was a time. I learned a lot. I experienced a lot. Had a taste of mealybugs. It was just awful. I'm not really sure what got into me, honestly. I don't know what bit me. The Hoya bug. The Hoya bug got me really bad, and it's all I could think about for just all the time. Just all the time I was thinking of Hoyas. And I went from having no Hoyas to like maybe 40, maybe more at one point, like 50. And I had a whole Hoya cabinet. My whole Rudstell was filled with Hoyas. My living room was filled with Hoyas. It was bad. It was really bad. And I think it was the mealybugs that did it for me, that really just like turned me off to them. I can deal with spider mites and I could deal with thrips because they're really hard to see. Mealybugs freak me the heck out. And so I really had to reel it back in. And over the last few months, or over this whole year really, I've just been trying to see who I love. Like, who do I really, really love? And so now I probably only have about 3 or 4 Hoyas in my collection. Actually, maybe more than that. Maybe 5. I think I have 5. And this is one of them. I I didn't love it immediately. It was kind of weird. It was a slow burn. So I got this one from my friend Erin, and she had like a big old pot of it, and it never really did anything for me. I never saw that plant and was like, man, I need to have one of those. It wasn't until she downsized her collection and just dropped off the plant to me to sell or do whatever with that I was like, wait, I think I love this plant. Like, why did it not click before? I didn't get it. But I just think it looks so wispy. It kind of reminds me of my ficus alii, like a micro version of it. I love the way it dangles. I love the growth pattern. I love how thick the leaves are. This is, oh, I love this plant so much. I love it. To me, I don't look at this plant and it doesn't like scream Hoya to me. I mean, I guess it does. Like what else would it be, right? But I don't know. This is just one of my most prized possessions now, and I just cannot thank my friend Erin enough for being so generous and just giving me the entire plant. I know that this looks like a pretty like big pot of it, but I want more. I want more. But it's kind of expensive and apparently hard to find. So I had propagated a few cuttings and I was selling them in live sales, and they were selling like hotcakes. I was like, is this like a hard plant to find? Like why is everybody going crazy bananas for this? And so yeah, there was a time where I was just chopping this thing like crazy, and now I've slowed down because I want it to grow more. I want it to grow longer. I think all of these runners are a lack of light. Man down! Why are you breaking? I'm touching it too much. Yeah, I think it's just a lack of light because I haven't gotten a lot of like new leaves lately, just a lot of these. Over the summer, I had pretty good, decent growth, and now I'm not really seeing too many new leaves. Just lots and lots of these. But it's still a very magical plant. I feel like this is a nice trailer to have on a shelf, like on its own or as a filler with other plants, the way I use it on my shelf. I don't think this needs high humidity. I think even when my friend Erin when she had it, she didn't have it in high humidity or high temps or anything. Ever since it's been in this house, it's always lived in ambient. It's always lived in no drainage. I think she even had it growing in no drainage, but it's been honestly one of my easier Hoyas. I don't really know what it likes and what it doesn't like because I just do the same thing I do with all my other plants with it. Could it be growing better? Probably, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the growth. I think she's really pretty, and I do think that, okay, I do think this is a Hoya that everybody needs. So if you're looking for a new Hoya, a trailing Hoya, please let this be it. I do love the linearis. I think the linearis is another one of my favorite Hoya of all time, but I find it to be finicky, and this is not even in the same realm of care. So much easier than the linearis. The next two I am not going to be taking out because they're too big, they're too heavy, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just gonna slide it over me. And the first one is obviously gonna be my Dean McDowell. I love this plant. I have been a Dean stan since day one. I can remember still so vividly the first time I ever saw a Dean. I had seen a pastazanum before this. My sister loved the pastazanum. She owned one before I even owned a Dean, and I wasn't like, I liked how pillowy it was, but I wasn't like wowed by it. It didn't really do what like something like the Gloriosum has done for me mentally, spiritually, physically. But the first day I saw a Dean, it was like love at first sight. I just could not get over the pillowiness of it. I couldn't get over the texture, couldn't get over the venation. I just loved everything about it. And I'm just so happy that it came into my life when it did, because it has just been, it's been 5 years of just pure bliss with the Dean McDowell. Actually, no, that's a lie. Okay, let's go back a little bit. I did not own a Dean for a little while because spider mites. One huge drawback, and I'm gonna do a whole video on this, but the the spider mites just love the Dean. I don't blame them because the Dean is just so pillowy and probably very delicious. But it just sucks that I always have spider mites on the Dean, but it's one of those plants that I love so much that I'm willing to put in the time and effort into keeping it healthy, trying to kind of keep the spider mites at bay. Will it always have spider mites? Probably, but to me, it's worth it. And I feel like with the use of mycorrhizal inoculants, it has strengthened the plant so that even when it has like a full infestation, it doesn't look terrible and it doesn't show as much of the cosmetic damage that spider mites can leave behind, opposed to a plant that doesn't have myco. This is all anecdotal, people. I am pulling this out of my booty hole, but I just feel like the myco is making the plant so much more resilient to pest outbreaks. But anyway, I love the Dean. Yes, it's a hard plant to maintain. The crawling pattern is not the easiest to maintain. It takes up a lot of space, but to me, it just brings so much happiness. It brings so much joy. I feel like it really ties in a room together. It's a great sort of like focal piece in terms of a plant, and it's great on its own, or it's great bunched with a bunch of other plants. And honestly, I can't really see myself without the Dean. That period of time where I didn't have one, that was a dark time. We don't want to relive that. And yeah, I just love this plant so much. So of course this is gonna make my favorites. I love the Dean McDowell. I love it so much. The next one, no surprise, is my tortum. I am the tortum pusher. I am. And people have unfollowed me for it, and that's fine. If you don't like the tortum, you don't like it, but I love it and I'm gonna keep pushing it. I'm gonna keep pushing it because the tortum brings a level of joy I did not know existed within this plant hobby, and I feel like I want all of you to experience it. It's a really magical plant. I was just talking about this with a friend on Instagram, saying how he was like, you know, I didn't see the appeal of the tortum before because it reminded me too much of a majesty palm. And guys, that's like comparing apples to oranges. It's absolutely not the same. It is so much different, and it's just amazing in person. And I just hope that everybody who says that they don't love the tortum just gets to see one in person, gets to feel the leaves, and maybe gives it a try, because it's just such a fun plant to grow. I find it to be easy. I've done a whole care video on it. If you're interested, I will link that in the description. But yeah, the tortum is always going to be one of my loves in this hobby. I cannot see myself not having a tortum. Even if this one croaked and died, I would replace it immediately, the same day. No, I would give myself time to mourn, because you know that's very sad, but I just love the tortum. I really love it. It's gonna be a favorite. Like I said, a favorite yesterday, a favorite today, a favorite tomorrow, and a favorite forever. Okay, those are all of the plants in the living room that I'm gonna feature in this favorites video. And now we are gonna move on to the favorites in this room. Honorable mentions first, though. They did not make the cut of this favorites video. I don't know why. I can't feature the whole collection, but you know, my scalprum and my frydek, they have been just phenomenal this year. We had a little, you know, hiccup with spider mites, and my scalprum had a little bit of a weird sort of thing going on, had some root rot, but they've bounced back, they've recovered. They're both doing pretty well. Love them very, very much. Maybe I'll do like an updated alocasia video, but those are kind of, yeah, those are like an always favorites, you know, but I'm not going to be featuring them in this video. So, okay. The first one that I have to because I want to show you what this leaf looks like right now. And that is, oh my God, that's heavy. I forgot I just watered this. Oh, my Monstera cearana that I just got onto this Russo pole not long ago, and holy guacamole, it has taken off. Look at those roots in this pole. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm waiting until it outgrows this pole to chop it, but my Monstera cearana, this is probably my favorite acquisition of the year, This is a plant that I did not think I would own for another several years. I remember back in 2020, I looked up the price of a Sirana and it was $10,000. It was $10,000, I'm not kidding. And it was for, I mean, it was for like a mature plant, but $10,000. And this one grows so fast. Why is it $10,000? I feel like it's like just like easy to chop and prop. But look at this new leaf, guys. It is, oh, the fennies. The fennies, there's 4 fingers. I got 4 of them and then 1 on one side. But it's just so magical. Look how close the fenestrations are to that midrib. It's basically touching it. It's so beautiful. I'm actually so surprised at how quickly I got these fenestrations. Pretty much, I don't know if it was a coincidence, but right after I got it onto this pole, it just threw out this leaf. It went, I mean, it was already getting there. Like, look at how big and wide this leaf is already and how deep these little veins are. But I love this plant. I first discovered the Sirana through, where did I see a Sirana first? It wasn't on YouTube. It must have been somewhere on Instagram. And then it wasn't until I saw it in Benji's house that I was like, yep, need one. Gonna need one of those now. And I got this one on Palm Street. I got it for a great price, and it was actually a mistake on their end. So I am sorry to the sellers for that mistake, but I hope it is of some consolation that I love this plant so much, and it has single-handedly cured my depression. But right now I'm growing it in an aroid mix with some tree fern fiber, and it's so heavy. She's living La Vida Loca. Look at her go. Those roots are nasty. Nasty in a good way. A little root rot, but I'm gonna upsize this as soon as I get home. And yeah, I still can't believe this is in my house. I can't believe it. I love it so much. I just got rid of my large form Monstera because I have an explanation. I love my elbow very much. That was another plant I was gonna feature, and maybe I still should, but I don't know. I feel like I just showed it, so I don't wanna be redundant again. But I love my elbow very much, and I'm trying to invest all my energy into the elbow and the Sirana, and I feel like I don't really have room in my heart for more of these big Monsteras. And I only have so much space, so something had to go. Now that you have seen my pride and joy, we're gonna be moving on. Oh, I can't reach this plant. My narrow pally. This was such a good buy. I don't remember when I got this. Did I get this last year or this year? I cannot remember, but we're gonna do some peeling. I just gotta do it. It's like a corn husk. It's like a tick, I have to do it. Sometimes you're not gonna like what you uncover, especially on the big pallidiflorums. It ends up looking like a bunch of stacked. But when it's small, it doesn't look so bad. It's not what she said. Okay, so anyway, my narrow pally. This one was I'm not gonna say impulse buy. Me and Alice, we went through an import list, and we were like, what should we get? There wasn't a whole bunch that we wanted. My pally at the time was not doing great. It was not doing great. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy another one just as a backup, just in case. And you can imagine our delight when we opened our import and saw these sinister looking pallies. Like they're so narrow. I've seen some narrow pallidiflorum before, and I don't know if I'm being biased, but I swear this one specifically is like more narrow than any narrow pally I've seen. Like it's so narrow. Like if you compare it to, I'm gonna throw in a picture right now showing my narrow pally next to my regular pallidiflorum. Like it's crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah, I successfully selfed this plant this year, which is so exciting. The seedlings are already looking super narrow because I have seen pallidiflorum seedlings before, and they do start off like round, like your normal seedlings, but the ones that came out of my batch, they're already so sharp. So I'm just really excited because ever since I've been showing this plant on this channel, you know, there's been a bunch of people like asking when I'm gonna chop it and stuff. And honestly, it could be, look at this stem. It's so long. But the thing is like it's not pushing out a ton of aerial roots, or it's not pushing up any aerial roots up here. And so I haven't been able to like propagate it, because if I chop it, then I'm not gonna have any roots. So that's why I have not chopped this plant yet. I think the next step would be removing all of the lower leaves and just planting this entire stem into substrate so that I can get more roots, and then it'll be choppable. Because I do think, even though I've selfed this plant, there are probably still some people out there that want the clones of this, and I don't blame you. It's such a good one. Mind you, it like, you know, it's got some boo-boos. This is I filmed a video at, no. Alice was holding on to this plant for me. She dropped it off and she was like, this brand new leaf is emerging, be careful. And as soon as I got in the door, I ripped it. So anyway, yeah, I love this plant so much. I'm so happy I have it. I remember the first time I owned my first pallidiflorum, that was like my dream strap leaf anthurium. And honestly, I still think it's a favorite. I like it. I favor it over the woodlingeri, I favor it over the vitarifolium, pendulifolium, pendens, bakeri, all of them. This one is my favorite, and to have this narrow one is truly a dream. Some of you probably don't see this one coming, but my anthurium diabloense has been so good to me this year. Granted, it's not massive. It's been kind of a slow grower for me, but man, it has been absolutely worth the wait. Look at this plant. Look at it. Look really closely. Whatever you're doing, come back to the screen. Come back to the screen. I'm gonna give you some time. Look at your phone, look at your TV. Look at this plant, this Donnie Darko plant. So I don't know, did an influencer post about this recently? Because I have had so much influx of people that are like, do you have any diabloense for sale? Someone messaged me on Messenger asking if I had this plant for sale. People on Instagram. And yeah, I feel like someone posted about this recently, and that's why it's like super popular right now. But it's not as like, it's not easy to find for some reason. Like, not a ton of people are selling it. I don't know why. Is this hard to find? I don't know. I got this from my friend Alice. I just lied to you. I got this from my friend Amanda. I was thinking of Alice because you guys, she's gatekeeping. She's gatekeeping her diabloense. Tell her I sent you. Her diabloense is massive. It's growing in the corner of her greenhouse. It's flowered like 80 million times. It's huge. Her leaves are like this big. Her stem is so long. It can be chopped. It can be chopped. So bug Alice. Alice has enough diabloense for the entire community. But mine is just a wee lad. Mine's a baby. I actually just chopped it recently for a friend. So yeah, but it recovered pretty nicely. I can see no new roots. That's not a good sign, but none of the leaves have yellowed since then. Historically, since growing this plant, I've only had these tiny little leaves that look like passiflora leaves. But yeah, I'm finally seeing some growth on it. But man, these ears, they are really truly diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. The texture is so good. It's a very thick leafed plant. It's glossy. It's not like velvety or anything, but it has a nice feel to it. And I just like cannot express how much I love this. I love it so much. To anyone wondering, I'm not gonna be chopping this plant anytime soon because I am trying to get it to flower. Alice has not had any luck selfing her plant. I don't know if that's why it's a hard plant to find. I don't know if that's why it's still expensive, because it's hard to self, but I'm gonna attempt it. I'm gonna try, because it would be so cool to grow little babies of this and spread the diabloense love. I think this is probably one of my favorite anthurium because of how unique it is and how different it is from the rest of my anthurium. But if you want the most sinister but silly anthurium of them all, the diabloense will not be beat. I just love showing this one, and some of you have watched it grow up with me. This one was a purchase from not too long ago. I think I got it from when it was a little smaller than this. Like it was like seedling size. Like it was really, really tiny. And now she's all grown up. I mean, she's not huge, but this is my Ace of Spades dark form crossed with a Fort Sherman Ralphinum from J. Vanini. This is a hybrid from Plant Babe, and I am so happy I got it. I don't know, actually I know, because I was just talking to someone about this. She was telling me how her seedling from Plant Babe looks nothing like this, and you know, that's seedling variation. Like you're not gonna get the same thing. But I think that's the reason why people love anthurium so much, is because there's so much variability in a seed batch. But I got a good one. I finally had the plant gods on my side. And just look at the texture of this. When you think of like a bumpy bolete plant, I feel like this is what you're talking about. Like, look at that. It's just crazy. I love it so much. I actually did not even know it was gonna have that texture, because if you look at some of the younger leaves, it kind of just looks, I don't know, like a pappy. It just looks like a pappy hybrid. I was not suspecting at all that it was gonna have the insane texture that it has now. Like even on this leaf, like yeah, you can see a little bit of texture, but it's still at this point, I was not thinking, oh man, I think this plant is gonna have crazy texture. It wasn't until I got this leaf that I was like, hold up, what's happening? And now I've got this magical thing. So this is another one of my prized plants right now. I'm just hoping to like keep this train going. It's got all of the really, really yummy features of the Ace of Spades and the Fort Sherman Ralphinum. I feel like it has more of the Fort Sherman Ralphinum like sinus and venation, and then it has like the Ace of Spades, kind of the Ace of Spades color. Not so much the shape, but she's purty. She is purty. Growing in tree fern soil. This is a thirsty plant. This one actually requires a lot of water. I probably should have sized this one up before I left too, because I'm kind of worried that it's gonna dry out, but I might actually put it in a cover pot with leca and then fill it with water. Hopefully that'll do the trick. It's 5:30, so I'm gonna be having a glass of wine. I am not pumping anymore. Archie is just on formula, and so I've got my body back. I was really good in trying to make sure I was like eating all the right things and stuff. My mom might have gotten scammed. I'm not gonna say any mean things because this person actually follows me on Instagram when I was doing a little digging. So I don't think that, you know, she's a scammer, but I think maybe this seller maybe got scammed by her seller, whoever she bought it from, because this plant definitely does not look like a Burle Marx's flame. So anyway, I don't even know why I'm saying that. But next plant. Oh, I don't even know if this is good. Before I found out I was pregnant, I bought 3 bottles of red wine. And then the next day I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, so all of these are gonna go bad, I think. Ooh. Jeez Louise. Talking about winning the seedling jackpot. I got this plant from my friend Jose. This is a Fort Sherman Ralphinum crossed with a dressleri carlablackiae. It was like this small, you guys. I'm not even kidding. I was so sure this plant was not even gonna make it. It was like half the size of my pinky nail. And I'm like, I don't know, it might just disappear. We don't know. I have no idea. But luckily I've managed to keep it alive. It was very unsuspecting though, so I'm gonna show you this leaf. Like obviously nice and dark, really great color. It's beautiful. But then it starts getting longer and more sinister, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 what is happening here? Why is this plant so magical? Look at how long this thing is. This thing needs like, it has like different hemispheres. It's so sharp and it's so long. I'm like, how does, like, good things don't happen to me, okay? In the plant world, I don't get lucky like this, but man, I got freaking lucky with this. And now I'm so curious to see what other people's plants look like from this seed batch, because if there was a competition, I think I would enter into the race. I would enter and I would feel confident because look at her. It's so narrow. It's so narrow. And typically I don't like swoon. I really don't. I don't swoon over these types of like, you know, pappy looking plants because I feel like they all kind of look the same. But this one just does it for me. And like, look at the back. It's like this beautiful red color. And just even the hardened off leaves has a beautiful texture to it and a beautiful color. I think it could be darker. This is a little bit bleached. I think it was just a little too close to the grow light, but like, look at that sheen. Oh man. I love this plant so much, you guys. You bet your bosom I'm gonna propagate this one. I don't want to stop talking about it. I want to keep talking about this plant. I want to talk about this plant for the rest of this video because it's so good and I feel like the camera isn't doing it justice. Do it justice. Do it justice. Do better. Do it better. Do your job better. It's so good. I can't stand it. Thank you so much, Jose. Like, seriously, I can't believe it. Maybe I'll like take a picture. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture right now and then I'm gonna pop it in. Cause like the emergent leaf has like a bluish hue to it and it's not coming through in the video, but you can see it. Well, I think you could see it now. Let's see. Sorry, my child's crying. But yeah, it's the only plant I have that has like this blue undertone and it's crazy. I'm sad that I'm done talking about it, but such a cool plant. Plants are so cool. And I just love that it has that Fort Sherman Ralphinum sinus with like the red. That would be actually super cool. What if like the sinus opened up like even more? Oh, that's sharp. I don't think it's good anymore. I don't even know the proper way to store wine. Yeah, anyway, I'm really sad that we're not talking about that plant anymore, but at least I have a really good one to show you, even though I just showed this in a recent video. The roots coming out of this are rotty. I'm telling you, I much prefer growing in no drainage because we, as if we're like some elite club or something. I just don't deal with these kinds of issues with growing with drainage holes, like having this rotty mess. Anyway, y'all, this is my forgetii red crystal. How about we just not say anything and you just stare at it for like a minute? Yeah, I'm just gonna chill here. I'm just gonna be right here and you guys you do your thing. I'm just kidding. A minute is actually a really long time doing nothing, but oh, this plant's so good. I got this one from Woohoo Tropicals. This one was labeled Forgetii X, but it's so obvious. It's a Forgetii red crystal, so I've been calling it a Forgetii red crystal. It has an incredible leaf texture. It's so bubbly, it's so bolate, it's got so much texture, it's really pebbly. And it's grown so well in ambient. And you know what? Before I forget, I've been saying this for like 5 days that I want to top this plant up with soil because it has so much space up at the top and it has so much exposed aerial roots. But anyway, I'm really glad, like obviously it would be so fun if this had a fused sinus. You guys, if this had a fused sinus, it'd be curtains on my life. I'm just peeling back some of the sheath so that I can expose some of these yummy aerial roots and get some some roots going. But yeah, it would be absolute curtains. That's the only thing that I think could make this better is if the sinus was fused. But anyway, yeah, the red crystal genes really came in hot on this one because you don't really see a ton of forgetii, really. Doesn't this just look like a red crystal to you, kind of? I am not mad at it at all though. This has been a favorite. I don't know, I don't remember which video it was where me and Alice unboxed this, but I'm choking on dust. So dry. So dry. Yeah, it was really tiny when I received it, and I was like excited. I knew that it was gonna be a good one. I followed my spidey senses, and sometimes my spidey senses lead me astray, but not this time. Not this time, boys. She's topped up, so hopefully I can get some more roots while I'm away. But yeah, this one's got like a nice thick leaf, really, really dark leaf. It has a beautiful leaf color. I mean, it looks very red crystal. It's not anything you haven't seen before, but the detail on it is just incredible. I just think that this is like the token anthurium. It's so good. I was gonna say, I've been growing it so well. No, it's been growing well. It's been growing well with me, has not minded being an ambient, has really held on to a lot of its leaves. I actually chopped the leaves off because of freaking mite damage, flat mites. And if you're wondering what I'm doing with the flat mite situation, I'm really not doing much. I'm still treating the way I've been normally treating. I've been rotating between Spino, between the alcohol and Dr. Bronner's castile soap mix. Sometimes I use Endol. I'm just kind of using everything I have in my artillery right now, and I don't know if it's working, but I'm just trying to not hyper focus on it because, again, I'm not hyper fixated on the damage. If it's not like so stark, if it's not so like noticeable, I don't have the energy to care anymore. This one has, I would say, probably no mite damage actually. This one got out unscathed. I wish you could see this in person. It's just so good. Everybody needs like a nice pebbly anthurium. Luckily this one's getting nice and big, so I think the next time that I repot this, I'm gonna be taking some cuttings. The butt cut is gonna go to Alice because I don't think I've given her a cutting of this plant yet, and then I'll probably have one for sale in the future, but I'm gonna wait until it actually pushes out growth before I sell it. I am not selling any chunks, no wet sticks. I'm not doing that nonsense anymore. Next one. Oh, this is a good one. They're all good ones. I love this video. My girl Dania. Do I sound like a super fan yet? Because I just am like talking about Dania all the time. So my friend Dania is an amazing grower, an amazing friend, an amazing breeder, and she unfortunately she's not like an active seller. Don't know why. She has her own reasons, but she makes incredible hybrids. So this is her KOS red crystal, tezula red crystal. Yeah, King of Spades tezula red crystal. I'm gonna put in a picture of Alice's here because I just watered her plants. Ours looks so wildly different. Hers is so cute. Oh my gosh, it's like this, it's like a blackish blue color. Her venation is much thinner than mine and a little bit more crisp, whereas mine has more of like the thick bleeding venation. Both plants are still very round, have a cute little sinus, but I would say they look very different. And so I told her, I'm like, we gotta do we have to do a butt chunk, am I short circuiting? Butt chunk trade. Butt chunk trade. We have to do a butt chunk trade because I need a piece of hers. It's so cute. I don't know which one I like more. I feel like they both have their own like uniqueness and cuteness to it, because I really, really love this one. I just think it got like the best features of both parents, but there's something so freaking like violently adorable about Alice's, so I cannot wait until I can have a piece of her plant. But now that we're here, I actually was gonna send Alice a picture of my mine because I wanted her to see how different it was. But man, I'm planning a video called The Rise and Fall of Philodendrons. So dramatic. Yeah, one thing that people say that they love the most about anthurium is the variability of them. And I have to say, I think that's probably my favorite too. It's almost like there's just infinite possibilities. Like, how could it ever get tiring if there's infinite possibilities? Yes, you can cross the same plants, the same 2 plants over and over and over again, but the variability you're gonna get from that seed batch, it's just so different and it's so exciting. So yeah, this is just like such a great example of, you know, 2 plants that come from the same batch, but just look so wildly different. And yeah, I think that me and her both got really cute ones. If you have a plant, if you have a KOS red crystal from Dania too, I'd love to see yours as well. I just want them all. I don't have like the best luck with the King of Spades. It's a very, very slow grower for me. I'm not really great at sizing it up. Like, mine is still really small. I'm not talking about that one. That one is my most recent import. I'm talking about the KOS that I've had for forever. I got the KOS before it was even called the King of Spades. I got it as a red mag, anthurium red magnificum. I think that's what it was being called in Indonesia, and that's what we imported them as. And this was before it like just blew up. I do believe that the ones that we got were from Haji Uli, and yeah, they're beautiful, but I just have not had the best luck. Like, you would think for as long as I've had it that it would be huge, like massive. Alice's is massive because she's better at growing anthurium than I am. But yeah, I just don't have the best luck with them. But I feel like my KOS hybrids are just, they're bringing me life. They've got the hybrid vigor and I'm into it. I'm here for it. This one is growing in a tree fern fiber soil mix. It's in like a 4-inch square pot and it needs to be upsized stat. I was going to upsize this one before I left, but I was too nervous that something might happen to it. So I just topped it up with some soil and hopefully it can hang on until I'm back. It's weird. It's like I go to California all the time. I'm always gone for like at least 2 weeks, but I think because so many of my anthurium are pushing new leaves right now, or not just my anthurium, my plants are pushing new leaves right now. I'm just like having a little bit of anxiety leaving them. Like, I feel like I'm gonna miss them so much and I don't want to leave them. I was like, maybe I can buy like 4 cameras and set them up everywhere so that I can just see them when I'm gone. But I'm like, you know what? No, we're not gonna do that. We're just not. So anywho, yeah, I don't know why I put this here. This is another beautiful plant from Dania. Since we're talking about Dania, I'm gonna bring out another one that I wanted to feature in today's video. This one is still really, really, really small. I feel like I'm sizing it up so slow. But this one is the Tezula Red Crystal Self. And I love this one for the emergent. Well, even the hardened off leaves are beautiful, but look at that emergent. It is crazy. It's so pink, it's so red. And the emergent leaf just has these beautiful bright white venation, like super, super white and really, really pink veins on it. And it's just so pretty. I feel like the more leaves that come out, it's just like showing really, really promising features. And it doesn't look like this one's gonna be super round, which is nice because I feel like a lot of my red crystal hybrids are really round. It would be nice to have some that are a bit more narrow. So I really do hope that it keeps this shape. I don't know why mine is sizing up really slow. It seems like hers that have just been in the prop box are getting so much bigger than mine. And it's not like in a tiny pot. I feel like the root system hasn't even outgrown this. There's no roots coming out of the bottom. It's growing in a greenhouse. I'm not sure if it's just like one of the weaker seeds, but yeah, it's beautiful. I'm so happy to have this one. I can't remember when I got it, but it was fairly recently. I'm really sorry that this video is so anthurium heavy, but it's been an anthurium year. It's been a very big anthurium year for me. I don't want to show these at the same time, but at the same time, I'm going to show them at the same time because I made babies. You guys, I have not been this excited ever about a hybrid that has taken. I am not celebrating just yet because, you know, even though it's clearly producing berries, sometimes it just aborts midway. Sometimes you can go full, like get the berries, but when you harvest them, they're all rotten or they don't germinate. So you really are not, I don't celebrate until I see leaves. So not celebrating yet, but this is a forgetii Carla. This is a, no, not a forgetii Carla. This is a Carla bvep from Amanda. This is probably one of my favorite plants in my collection. I got this one as a birthday gift, again, from Alice and Jing. Oh my gosh, this fungus man. And I pollinated it with my forgetii Carla, also from Amanda, also a birthday gift. Look at how pretty this is. I feel like I've seen a few forgetii Carla out there, but sorry to say it, I feel like I have one of the better ones because some of them aren't that, I don't know, they're not that nice, but I feel like I got a really, really good one. It's got really nice venation. It's got venation that like drops off before it gets to the edge of the leaf margin, like a Carla. This one's yellowing, but it's got a new leaf on the way. It honestly, it has a very underwhelming emergent leaf. The party is not in the emergent leaf, it's in the hardened off leaf. It's one of the very few anthurium where it's, you know, I feel like with anthurium leaves, they're like this nice, like cute, like coppery, bronzy color like the wendlingeri, or you have something like the red crystal that has like the really red leaf, but this to me just, it does nothing for me. But you can already see how bright that sinus is gonna be. And it kind of has this like partially fused sinus, like it doesn't have a fully closed sinus or fully open. It's just peltate. Is peltate the word? It's also flowering, and I'm going to be leaving it to Alice to pollinate this one while I'm away. She was telling me to just like take whatever pollen she had at her house, but it's obviously not open yet, and I didn't want to freeze pollen for that long, so I'm gonna let her do it. But anyway, you saw that plant. Going back to this one, it's got the sinus or the venation always reminds me of like a sunrise or something, like the sun. It has like this starburst like sinus that is just incredible. It's so beautiful. I can remember just being absolutely floored when I saw this plant for the first time. It has really, really dark leaves, not a ton of texture to it, which is fine. It's like, it's quite flat, but I think it gives the venation more like of a standout. Like it allows the venation to stand out more because there's not too much texture to the leaf, but it is just incredible. And when I got these two plants, I think I got them at the same time. I was thinking, I was like, I want to hybridize them together, and I wanted this to be the mom, and it just worked out one day. They both started flowering at the same time, and it was like, oh, my prayers were answered. Before I forget, I'm just like doing some plant chores while I do this video. I want to put it on a stick because sometimes the inflow gets really heavy once the berries develop, and then it snaps. So I just want to give it some support. Here we go. Something like that. No matter how small, how big, doesn't matter. I always recommend putting your inflows on a stick like this. Okay, so everyone wish this well, because if we get berries, we might have a very, very beautiful cross. If there were any two plants in my collection that I could hybridize together, it was gonna be these two. And we're here. Alice tried to pollinate her Carla bvep and it aborted. I think she used Carla pollen on it. And so, yeah, she was like, don't get your hopes up. Like, it kind of seems like it might be a hard one to pollinate, but I did it. I did it. It's getting really, really bumpy now. I can see these like green berries starting to form, and it's a very exciting time over here. So I'm gonna be leaving in a week. I'll be back 3 weeks after that. And so I think by the time I come back, there should be like full berries on here now. I'm hoping that I don't miss the window where it's ready to be collected, but I don't see that happening. I don't see it going from this stage to collection in 4 weeks. It just seems a little bit too fast. The timeline for me is normally like a month and a half from pollination to collecting. So yeah, fingers crossed. I actually took 2 off my list today because I have just rethought it, and I don't think I want to include them. So I only have 3 more to show you. The last 2 I'm not even going to bring out because they're too big, but this is probably one that is going to be unsuspecting to you guys. This is my columnea arguta af that I got from Floriculture Tropical Nursery in Sacramento. So they have a really, really big one. And this is, I think, the same family as the lipstick plant. I'm not a huge fan of the actual lipstick plant. I had it before, but it just didn't really tickle me. It didn't tickle me. Didn't tickle me. This one does tickle me. It just, I don't know, for me, the way it feels in the hand when it's really, really long, because for me, plants, I go for the feeling of them just as much as I do the look of them. So the pallidiflorum is one that I really love the feeling of, which is why I like it more than the Wendlingeri. I think both visually are very, very beautiful, pendant leaf anthurium, but the pallidiflorum has me on the texture. So this, it kind of feels the same way as have you ever stroked a linearis, like a long linearis? You got that fuzzy texture, and it kind of just like falls in your hand, like it just like drapes over your hand like this, and it's just like so nice. It's just so nice. So this has that same essence, okay? Like it just, oh, it's just so good. And yeah, it's like a nice fuzzy leaf. Fuzzy, but like almost like matte, leathery. It's a very interesting texture. It's unlike really any plant I've ever owned before, and I just love when it gets really, 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 really nice and long. I am so glad that he allowed me to take a cutting of this because I love it so much. I was really nervous about taking it home, but it rooted really well. It's pushing out new growth here. I did lose one of the propagated stems, but it's okay. I think we're gonna be all right. There's a lot of new growth on these ones, and it looks like it's doing okay. I am growing it in a very perlite heavy pon. I probably could have put a little bit more pon in here because it dries out really fast, but I might actually stick this in a prop bin while I'm away. It probably doesn't need it. I'm just being overly cautious, but once this one gets really nice and long, I just think it's just gonna do me in. It's gonna be one of those trailing plants that I just start pushing onto people, and they're gonna say, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Stop it. And I'm gonna say, look, listen, let it speak to you. And so thank you so much, Tropiculture, it's curtains on my life. Floriculture Tropical Nursery. Thank you so much for this. It's a beautiful plant, and I am just so honored to have it. The last 2 I'm gonna show you are plants that are too big to bring down. So the first one is going to be my Patricia. It has been a long-winded, emotional journey with the Patricia. I'm not gonna go too in depth about the history between her and I, but let's just say that over a handful of times I've almost given up. I have almost given this plant away. I've almost thrown it in the trash. I was extremely underwhelmed when I first received it. It is one of the most expensive philodendrons that I have purchased. I bought it in 2020 for $350 or maybe even $450 USD. Yeah, I was a little choked when I got it because I was like, wow, I paid so much money for this plant and it looks like road grass. But now it is turning into the patty of my dreams so much easier than when it was younger. I could not ask for more. I am so smitten with her. I can't wait until I can get some really, really nice long leaves because she's still really small right now. I mean, she's a lot bigger from where she started, but in comparison to how big they can get and how big I've seen them in person, it's peanuts. It's peanuts. She's a small fry right now. But it's such a great philodendron. It's growing so compact. So if you are one of those people who've kind of like thrown the towel in on philodendron because you can't maintain the growth, or like you're so tired of having to extend poles what seems like every month, I would try the patty and put it in close proximity to light. I feel like this is not a philodendron that really gets bleached under light. It's done really well with any light I've given it, and right now it's living pretty dang close to the Soltec light and it is not getting bleached at all. And it's growing very compact. Like the petioles are stacked right on top of each other. So it's been beautiful so far. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it, but I've really enjoyed the growth of this plant this year, and I'm just excited to see where 2025, what's next year? 2025 takes us. I was not sure what year it was for a second there. And then the last one is my dearly beloved Hoya obovata. I probably should have repotted this plant a long time ago. You guys should see the crazy trellis. I don't even know if you can call it a trellis at this point, because it's just like, I almost said John Wick. It's MacGyvered so terribly. I'm using like tape and I think Velcro ties, and I'm using all kinds of things to keep it upright, but I just don't know what the plan is with this obovata. But I got this, I think it was in 2021. And I got it in like a 6-inch trailing pot. Now I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have kept it trailing. It might have been easier to maintain the growth, because I don't know what to do with it now. But you know, she has been a trooper. She has given me so much growth. It's been such a breeze, so easy, requires very little from me. It's just the plant that keeps on planting. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and I don't have to think about it too much. I love the leaves. I love the tiny splash on it. I just really love everything about this plant. It's a very common Hoya. It's not one that's super sought after for whatever reason, but I just love it so much. I do love the carlablackiae as well, but I think the Hoya obovata, like those, just the perfect circle leaves, they just get me. They just scratch the right itch, and I love it a lot. But I think next year is the year that we're gonna have to figure out what the plan is. I think, I don't wanna say it and I don't wanna do it, but I think the route that I'm gonna have to take with this plant is chopping a lot, propagating a lot. And I think I might just do a trailing basket this time. I was gonna do the half up, half down thing, but truth be told, it's just really difficult to maintain a trellised plant this heavy and this big. And I do much better with trailing plants, and so I don't know, I might consult with you guys first. I might get on a live and like ask you guys for your opinions, because I'm really at a loss, or I'm at a standstill, I guess, with this plant. I don't know what to do just yet, but I love it so much. And anytime someone asks for a Hoya that is really low maintenance and really easy to care for, the obovata is always my go-to. Anyway, you guys, I think that's it. I don't even know if there's any honorable mentions. Like you know what? If we're gonna go the honorable mentions route, we're gonna be here all night, and it's almost bedtime. So I gotta go. Man, last video of the year. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Thank you for making 2024 such a magical year. I was pregnant this year, and then I wasn't pregnant this year, and I had probably upward of 400 plants at one point this year, and now I'm down to maybe like 170, 180, and it just feels a lot more manageable. Like I can water all of my plants in my house in the span that Archie takes a nap, and that was my goal. I feel like I've learned a lot this year about what I like in a curated collection and what I don't like. I think I've learned my limits in terms of how many plants is too much. Yeah, I think I'm just really excited to see what next year has in store. Hopefully I can make some more cool hybrids. Hopefully I can attain more wish list plants. There are not a ton on my wish list, but I may or may not have acquired my #1 wish list plant. I may or may not be bringing it home from California. So it's already going to be an exciting new year. Hopefully you guys are still around when I come back after this hiatus. I was just telling this to someone who messaged me on Instagram that I feel like no matter what I do, you guys, a majority of you, always have my back. You do want to see me succeed in life, even beyond plants, and you guys really truly just want the best for me, and it just warms my heart, and it makes me so happy and so grateful for you guys. And just know that I am aware and I am conscious every day of the fact that I would not be sitting here doing this for a living if it wasn't for you guys watching every week. And so I just owe so much to you, and I wish there was a way that I could give back to every single one of you, or I wish there was a way that I could thank you in a way that was meaningful to you. But yeah, you guys have just really made the last few years such a dream for me, and I really appreciate you so much. So I hope no matter what has happened in your life this year, or what has happened with your plant collection this year, if you're in a good place or a bad place, I hope that the end of the year has looked a little bit better for you. I hope next year is a better year for you, or I hope it continues to be a great year for you, no matter what you're going through in life, because I have a lot of personal stuff that I've dealt with the last few years that not a lot of people know about, but I've just tried to keep in happy spirits. But just know that I see you, and I appreciate you, and I love you so much, and I hope you guys have an amazing new year. Please be safe, make good decisions, do not drink and drive, and I will see you in 2025.